The books of Joshua, Judges, 1 and 2 Kings, Chronicles, Samuel, Ezra, and Nehemiah form the historical books of the Hebrew Testament. These books not only unfold for us the history of the people of Israel after the flight from Egypt and prior to the captivity in Babylon, but they also lead us to see the establishment as well as the fall of the monarchy. 1 and 2 Kings in particular brings us to see the tension between king and prophet in a unique way. Elisha is the only prophet left in old Israel. And in this section, he is seen as a wonder worker. People are drawn to him. Why are they drawn to him? They come to him because they have seen a manifestation of the presence and power of God. They find in him what they find nowhere else. They find in him that heart of God deeply yearning for his people. In the midst of the famine that has struck the land, people are going to Elisha. And this gentleman comes bringing him 20 barley loaves from the first fruits. He comes giving what little he has as an offering to the prophet. The prophet in turn takes the offering and presents it to the people. And his servant says, "How can I set this before 100 people?" Elisha says, "Just give it to him." What he's basically saying is, just do what I asked you to do. And the people have their fill, and there is some left over. They go to the prophet to find in him God's concern and care. A concern and care for the people that the king cannot provide. But rather it is only God, through the prophet, who manifests his love for his people. This crowd is following Jesus today in John's Gospel as we begin the Bread of Life discourse, this 6th chapter. Why are they following him? They've seen the signs. They've heard his words. They know that in him, God is touching them. They find in him their deepest longing. They find in him, in his words and his deeds, a manifestation of the presence and the power of God. He asks Philip, "Where are we going to find enough food for these people?" Philip says, "There's no way. 200 days' wages worth of food would not be enough." Andrew's kind of like the jokester. He's kind of the straight man. He said, "There's a boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. You all awake? But what good is that for so many?" And Jesus says, "Bring them here." He has the people recline, takes the loaves, gives thanks, and they all have their fill. They all come to the Christ to have their fill. They come to the Christ not for what they want, but they come to the Christ to satiate their deepest need. Their need to know that concern and care of God for them. To come to know that mercy of God, that compassion of God for them. Come to be fed not only by his word, but by the bread that he breaks. Why do we come? Why do we come? We come for the same reason. We may not know it, but we come to find that answer to our deepest need, that deepest need for God. And he proclaims to us his word, and he gives to us what no one else can give to us. He gives to us, through the mystery of his passion, death, and life-giving resurrection, his body and blood as food and drink. It is this body of Christ that we consume, that mingles with our own flesh and blood. It is this blood of Christ that we consume that flows through our veins. It is this divine life of God that is given to us in and through the mystery of the Eucharist. Do we understand what it is that we receive? Do we understand this ultimate act of God's love for us? He gives to us divine life so that, as Augustine reminds us, we might become what we receive. We look in all the wrong places to be noticed. We look in all the wrong places for attention. We look in all the wrong places for love. And yet it is here, in this holy place, that we find the truth. We find true love. A love that is selfless, a love that is constant, a love that comes from the very core of God's being for us. Why? Why does God give us himself? Why does he give us this Eucharist? So that people might see in us what they see in the Christ. So that through our care and concern for the other, people might be drawn to us. So that our love for each other may reflect with the brilliance of God's light his love for us. Our challenge, over and over again, is to enter deeply into this most holy mystery of the Eucharist, to treasure this gift that we have received, not merely or only for us, but for all, for all. We're not going to find love in our phones. We're not going to find love in a click. But we will find love in this Eucharist if we come with humility, if we come with a sense of awe and wonder, if we come with a heart open to that love of God for us all. This Eucharist is Christ's gift to us. It is a sign of his love for us. And he challenges us to enter into that love, to enter into his mercy, and to be that life-giving sign of his love in our world.